Thank you for joining us today as we have our 15 minutes with a senior. I have Miles Huffhines here. And so Miles, introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name's Miles Huffhines. I'm a senior here at Canyon High School, and I am a very outgoing person. I love talking to people, love getting to know people. Two of my favorite hobbies are through 4-H. I've had commercial steers. I've had multiple projects with that. I like drone photography and videography, making videos. And my parents are Craig and Mary John Huffines, and we've lived here in Texas for 5 years. Next year, I'll be going to Texas A&M University, and I'll be majoring in agriculture economics.
Cool. So what do you plan on doing with that?
So I've actually got to, through my beef cattle projects through 4-H, I've had the opportunity to meet many key leaders in beef cattle production here in the Panhandle. And so my goal is to eventually end up in the cattle feeding industry. So Cactus Feeders right down the road in Amarillo, I was one of their summer interns this past summer. And through that, I had the opportunity to make really good relationships with key leaders in their company. And so hopefully, maybe I can work with them someday. But there's many different organizations and corporations that do the similar thing. So hopefully I can hop in there.
And I'm sure you'll do great with that. So I want you to think back, way back to junior high days. And do you have any advice? I want you to answer this kind of in two parts. We have several coming into the junior high group. And so would you have any advice for them as far whether it deals with junior high life, whether it deals with being involved in a youth group now, and then after that, for those that are incoming freshmen, how do things change from going to junior high and high school? And what advice would you give them?
So first I'll address the incoming junior high students. I actually moved to Canyon coming into 8th grade. And so not only was I coming to a new school and meeting new people, I was entering essentially junior high. So this was all a very, very nerve-wracking and scary time in my life. And the number one thing I can suggest that kept me happy and upbeat was getting involved with the youth group, making friends through the junior high youth group was my savior. So I met Lucas and Matthew. Those were two guys that really took me in under their wing and made me kind of feel at home. And so those guys I really attribute a lot to. But for junior high kids coming to high school, that's a big step too. That's probably even a bigger step. But the number one thing I can suggest is continue to make Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights a priority. It's very easy in high school to allow other things to take over your life, sports, academics, extracurriculars. So I suggest do your best to make it a priority and keep building your faith because it's really easy to slip up during these times and you can never get them back. So that's something I would really recommend to incoming high schoolers.
Great. I think that that's a great recommendation. I also want you to, in kind of thinking back, I want to give this a chance to give a shout out to whether it be to the members of the congregation or I want you to look back and see whose examples, whose teachings, those who have made an impact on your life. Who are some people you would attribute that to?
One huge role model I have in the congregation is Renner. Everyone knows that he's a great example of what it means to be Christ and a man of God. So he's one man I really look up to. I also want to shout out the whole Collier family. So Matt, Wendy, Charla, Hanley, and Troydon, and my buddy Carson. My family has been incredibly supportive since we've moved to Canyon. My parents, and they've all really helped me plug in my faith here. So I really thank them for all they've done as well.
Great. So you talked about yourself a little bit at the beginning. How would you think that people maybe they get the a wrong first impression of you? Like, what surprises people about you as they get to know you better?
Yeah, so a lot of people get to know me through this past year, how I play on the basketball court. And so it's very it's very different how I play on the court versus my actual personality. I'm a very outgoing, fun guy. I love people, and on the court, when people see me play, I'm brutal. I'm aggressive. I'm going in there. I'm beating people up, and I mean it's just my passion for the game and for my teammates. Got to fight for them. So I think it's a big contrast. And so whenever people meet me, they realize, hey, he's a pretty nice guy. So I don't think it's the same person. I've got two different personalities from that. Even my parents, they ask me what the heck's going on. They don't recognize me whenever I'm playing basketball. And so that's one of those things this past year on varsity. It was I met a lot of new people. And so that was one thing I think people got skewed a little bit.
Yeah, I would say I would be on the opposite end of that, where, you know, I knew you from the youth group and seeing you and you know, and then I go and watch you play basketball and I wonder, like, is that the same guy? You know?
Right, right.
And
I've got that. I get that all the time. It's just I've got to switch. I don't know how to flip it. I can't switch it on right now. Whenever I'm in the gym or I'm playing sports of some sort, it just I can't control it. It's just one of those things.
yes, yes. Is there anything so during this pandemic, is there anything that you've learned about yourself, you know, as we've been isolated and we've been able to spend more time on our own? Is there anything that you learned about yourself during this time that maybe have been a surprise?
So one thing I've learned is that there's never enough, or there's never enough yard work to do. I think that's that right. There's always more. You can always put down more mulch, plant more plants, keep mowing the lawn. So that's an endless thing that it makes your house look good, very monotonous. But one thing I've noticed about myself is that I really do like making videos. So we've done Zoom calls, and that's been really fun. But one of my assignments for my classes, I'm a part of Super Team at Canyon High School. Mm-hmm. So I'm running Tuesday through Friday at the elementary schools, at Reeve Senior and Lakeview. And got to make videos for my classes. And so I've been sending them to Miss Burgoon's second grade class. And it has been so much fun getting assigned just a little topic and being able to take it in any direction I want to. So our first assignment was just check in on the kids. The next one was tell them about your quarantine. And then third was tell them about making the right choices. So kids in my class, I mean, they just get the grade for doing it and sending it to the teachers. But I've really enjoyed throwing in things I like to do. So I taught them how to draw. I taught them all about my drone. And then I taught them different ways in which they can make smart choices during quarantine. So doing these videos has taken up a lot of my time, but it's been really fun. And I know it's for a good purpose. And so maybe in the future, I'll continue to make videos.
Yeah, so you're telling me I should just let you do these interviews from here on out and
no, it's Zoom has been fun too. I really do like Zoom, so it's allowed me to connect with people which I really wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of, it's easy to be negative during this time. There's a lot, you can always find something to complain about, but there have been some positive things. What do you hope sticks, you know, of some of the positive changes that have come about because of this, as things begin to reopen up and we get closer to normal? What are some things that you hope, you know, last through that?
I think in recent years, I mean, the past 10 years, we've slowly seen our family meals start to fade. So ever since my brother's graduated, it's kind of been off and on. And during this quarantine, it's been every lunch, every dinner I've got to eat with my family. And so I hope with this quarantine, we can learn from this. We can continue to have those and stay involved with each other. And I also see a great value in Zoom, being able to talk to people about anything all across the country. And so I've got to talk to some of my friends from Missouri and Nebraska. And it's been really fun to have a conversation and see them even though we're not there in person. So I hope those two things stick.
I want you to think back uh, on your high school days. What do you think is going to be your favorite memory from the youth group from high school?
That's a good one. I haven't, so much has happened. I think a couple things, everything I've done through 4-H, all of my different projects and the people I've met, the amount of time and hours I've spent with my parents in on all these different contests and feeding out cattle, that's something that I'm very grateful for and that I'm going to utilize in the future. But some of my favorite memories have been um, being all the different times I've been with my friends. We've gone on trips. I've gone to the mountains with my friends. Um, all the different camps I've gone to over the summers, Opportunity Camp, my church camp in Nebraska, Nebraska Youth Camp, all these different things, which are just for middle school, junior high, and high school kids. These will be memories that I know have really made an impact on me and my personality. And I'll remember them for the rest of my life. And I'll be very grateful for them.
And then my last question for you is how do you imagine that you'll tell future generations about this time?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a little bit. This is a, I try to put it into comparison as to what my grandparents might have been through. And it really, like, the stories I've heard them are so much more catastrophic. Whereas this, it's very quite uneventful. And, we just sat in my house for 2 months and watched all the shows on Netflix and got the lawn mowed. And so it'll be interesting and they'll be kind of weirded out by it, but it is something cool that's been a part of my life. So I will definitely share it.
Certainly. Well, I want to thank you for your time today, Miles, and I want to thank you for the positive outlook that you always have, that you bring to our meetings, to huddles, and your willingness to serve and to lead whatever it is that I've needed. You've been able to just kind of fill in, so I just want you to know that we are praying for you. We are excited to see the things that you have in your future, and I just thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.